The GMC Canyon has been marketed as a more upscale choice in midsize trucks, but beyond the polished exterior lies a series of compromises that potential buyers are discovering the hard way. If you're considering spending your hard-earned money on what's supposed to be an upgrade over the Chevrolet Colorado, you need to understand the reality behind the marketing, because these problems could turn your dream truck into a daily frustration. Number 6. Lack of powertrain options. The Canyon forces you into a single powertrain configuration, whether you need that much power or not. The 310 horsepower turbocharged 2.7-liter four-cylinder is certainly impressive, delivering 430 pound-feet of torque that's perfect for towing and hauling. But what if you don't need that capability every day? Picture your typical week. Maybe one weekend a month you're hauling your boat to the lake or loading lumber for a home project. The other 95% of the time, you're commuting to work, running errands, picking up groceries. The powerful Turbo 4 is drinking fuel on every mundane trip, burning through your budget for capability you're barely using. The previous generation understood this reality, offering 3 completely different engine options, including a fuel-efficient diesel that delivered excellent torque without the constant gas station visits. The current Canyon averages around 19 miles per gallon city and 22 miles per gallon highway, and those numbers add up quickly when you're filling the tank twice a week. Rivals recognize that not every truck buyer needs maximum power all the time, offering more efficient base engines for buyers who prioritize everyday economy over occasional towing capability. You're essentially paying for a performance engine whether your needs justify it or not, removing the flexibility that made the previous generation appealing to budget-conscious buyers who still needed truck capability, but power and efficiency aren't your only concerns. The lack of choice extends to something even more fundamental about how you'll use this truck. Number 5. Single cab and bed configuration. The biggest frustration many potential Canyon buyers face: you get exactly one configuration choice, crew cab with a short bed, and that's it. The bed measures just over 5 feet, 61.7 inches to be exact, which immediately limits what you can haul compared to trucks with longer bed options. Imagine you're at the home improvement store loading up sheets of plywood for that deck you're building. With a 5-foot bed, those 8-foot sheets are hanging way out the back, forcing you to deal with red flags, bungee cords, and the constant worry that your materials might shift during the drive home. Your competitor, the Toyota Tacoma, allows buyers to choose between different cab styles and bed lengths, letting you match the truck to whether you're hauling people or cargo most often. The Canyon's crew cab-only approach forces a compromise. You get decent passenger space, but at the cost of bed length, that makes serious hauling frustrating. Contractors loading tools and materials find themselves playing Tetris every morning, while weekend warriors discover their camping gear, kayaks, or dirt bikes require creative securing solutions that wouldn't be necessary with a longer bed option. You're paying GMC's premium pricing for less versatility than competitors offer at similar or lower price points. So you chose the crew cab for passenger space, but here's where things get disappointing. Number 4. Passenger space issues. The GMC badge suggests luxury and spaciousness, but the Canyon's interior tells a different story, particularly for rear seat passengers. Despite being configured exclusively as a crew cab, the second row feels surprisingly tight and uncomfortable, especially on longer trips. Front seat occupants enjoy 45.2 inches of legroom, which is generous and comfortable. But ask your teenage son or your buddies to climb in back for a weekend fishing trip, and you'll face just 34.7 inches of legroom, significantly less than competitors like the Honda Ridgeline and Jeep Gladiator. Here's where this becomes a real problem. You chose a crew cab specifically because you need to carry passengers comfortably. Maybe you're carpooling to the job site, taking the family on vacation, or hauling your kids' sports teams within 30 minutes on the highway. You'll start hearing complaints about cramped knees and limited space. The elevated seating position helps somewhat, but it can't overcome the fundamental lack of space that makes this truck feel smaller inside than its exterior dimensions would suggest. Multiple owners report the rear seat feels more cramped than the previous generation, which is particularly frustrating considering this is supposed to be an upgrade. And if cramped space isn't enough to dampen your enthusiasm, wait until you experience how this truck rides. Number 3. Ride quality compromises. The Canyon's off-road capability comes with a significant trade-off that affects every single drive. A stiff, old-school suspension setup that prioritizes capability over comfort. When you're tackling rough terrain or towing heavy loads, that firm suspension provides the stability and control you need. But during your daily commute, it's a different story. Think about your drive to work. Speed bumps in the parking lot, patched sections of highway, railroad crossings. In the Canyon, every one of those imperfections transmits directly into the cabin with a harsh jolt, creating a driving experience that feels surprisingly unrefined for a truck wearing GMC's supposedly upscale badge. The ride feels choppy and jostling over road imperfections, with constant body quiver that reminds you this is a work truck at heart, regardless of which trim level you've chosen. What makes this particularly frustrating? Rivals have figured out how to balance capability with comfort. The new Tacoma features an advanced multi-link rear suspension that dramatically improves ride quality while maintaining off-road prowess. The Canyon's traditional leaf spring rear suspension and stiff damping might impress hardcore off-roaders, but for buyers who spend 95% of their time on paved roads, it's a daily reminder that you've compromised comfort for capability you rarely use. That harsh ride makes you notice every detail of the cabin, and unfortunately, those details reveal more disappointment. Number 2. Interior quality concerns. While the dashboard layout looks modern and the technology is reasonably advanced, a closer inspection reveals materials and build quality that feel decidedly un-GMC-like. Rest your arm on the center console, adjust the climate controls, open the glove box. All those touch points where you interact with your truck hundreds of times reveal hard, hollow-feeling plastics that don't match what you'd expect from a supposedly premium brand. The owner complaints consistently mention thin seat padding that feels like sitting on a board after extended drives, along with trim pieces that don't fit quite right and controls that feel surprisingly cheap to operate. Even in the Denali trim, buyers are finding themselves touching cheap plastic surfaces constantly, creating a disconnect between the luxury positioning and the actual cabin experience. The problems extend beyond just materials. Multiple owners report issues including squeaky dashboards, rattling doors after just a few thousand miles, and blend doors that click constantly with no resolution, but cheap plastics and squeaky trim are minor annoyances compared to what's happening with the truck's mechanical reliability. Number 1. Reliability and build quality issues. The most concerning problem facing Canyon owners, an alarming pattern of reliability issues, is raising serious questions about long-term dependability. Electrical gremlins plague the Canyon's sophisticated systems. Display screens randomly black out mid-drive, infotainment systems freeze, requiring software updates that take months to arrive, and critical safety features malfunction without warning. One AT4X owner reported their truck becoming unsafe to drive after just 65 miles, with the front camera requiring replacement, a part that remained back-ordered for over 4 weeks while the brand new truck sat at the dealership unusable. Recalls tell a troubling story. GM has recalled Canyon models for loose seatbelt bolts that could fail in a crash, damaged wheel hub bolts that risk loss of vehicle control, and fuel tank issues caused by improperly tightened lock rings, transmission shifting delays, electrical system glitches under heavy use, and mysterious popping noises in the drivetrain that dealers struggle to diagnose. Multiple owners report spending more time at the dealership than actually driving their trucks, with problems persisting even after supposed repairs. In the end, the GMC Canyon looks great on paper: powerful engine, rugged capability, premium styling, but beneath that polished image lies a truck that struggles to deliver on its promises, from its limited configurations and cramped rear seats to its harsh ride, cheap-feeling interior, and growing list of reliability issues. The Canyon feels more like a missed opportunity than a true premium midsize pickup. If you're considering one, make sure you're not just buying into the badge, because what seems like an upgrade at first glance might end up costing you more in comfort, convenience, and peace of mind down the road. But despite these drawbacks, the Canyon is still a solid choice in the midsize truck segment. If you want to know what real problems are, check out our video about concerns about the Ford Ranger powertrain. Ford's midsize truck is great in many ways, but the powertrain isn't one of them.